Hello guys and welcome back to a brand new video on my channel. In today's video I wanted to basically talk about Chelsea's start to the season because I wanted to analyse it, the problems that are going on right now, what we really need to be saying about such a topic, because it is quite a delicate one. There's been a lot of debate whether certain things are okay to say, whether others are maybe not, and there's kind of, you know, a bit of a balance in the Chelsea fan base as to what really is going on right now. So I wanted to make a video on it, basically get my thoughts across, say what we should be expecting maybe from the rest of the season, what I would change, what needs to change, what really are the main issues. So let's get really into this video then. And just before we go any further guys, I want to make it really clear that I'm not asking Frank Lampard to go. I actually think he should definitely be staying. He's the centre of the project for Chelsea this season, at least anyway, and he's convinced a lot of the big players in Europe to come to the club. He had a really successful first season, so he's already proved himself that he can deal with, you know, maybe things not going so well at the club at a certain point. He came in at a really tough period for Chelsea last season and he made us, you know, quite a competitive team. We did really well with what we had available. So I just wanted to make a video because I wasn't really very happy with how Chelsea have started this season, and I want to also make it clear that it's not click of the fingers with the Chelsea right now. You know, we can't just sign a load of players and say, yeah, there we go, top of the league, no problem. It's a process, it really is. We need players back, we need time, we need everything to come together. And like I said, we haven't just bought all of this great talent just to, you know, immediately be good. This is a process. We've brought these people to be part of a massive project, and it isn't just going to go amazingly from the first, you know, 3 match weeks. So I want to get that out there first. But then I also want to say that there are certain things that I think need to be addressed. Apart from the fact that we're going to give them time, apart from the fact that we're all going to back Lampard, there's still a reason, I think, to talk about Chelsea right now. I'll talk about some of the issues and just mention some of the things that we definitely need to be doing better. So I want to give some of these things some serious attention, because maybe they've been walked over here and there and people have said, that's alright, we'll get better, or yeah, it's just a start. And it's fine to say that. Like, I agree, it is just a start, and like I said, this is a massive process, but it's not just okay to just use that excuse 24/7, because there are things we need to be looking at. And right now at Chelsea, we have incredible players. We have a really good squad, and with so much top quality, we have to improve out on the pitch. And the main things I want to talk about, basically, that I'm upset about, are tactics, actually. For me, we lack a clear style, we lack a clear game plan. We essentially just play the ball wide, cross it into the box. It's very basic what Chelsea do with the ball, and I think last season that was certainly different. We looked quite versatile, we had different little game plans for each game. Lampard certainly was, you know, making little plans for each different game, and yes, that will come as the season goes on, but right now, with so many great players, we just look a little bit null in the attack. And secondly, maybe even more importantly, where is the defensive strategy? Honestly, since Frank Lampard has been the coach, Chelsea's defence has been awful. Let's not sugarcoat it. We've been terrible, and it is the plain truth. We need to see a clear improvement in this aspect of our game, in my opinion. We've got good players in that sort of position now. We've got Thiago Silva, Kurt Zouma, Tomori, someone I really like at the back. Having Chilwell and Reece James come in at fullback is also really good. Edouard Mendy looks really good in goal. You've got Azpilicueta, who's one of the best defenders in the Premier League over the last decade. So we've got a lot of good defenders now. For me, it's about system. We need to see clean sheets. We need to see way more calm at the back, because right now I'm going into games and it just looks like we're going to concede a goal here, a goal there, and if not, we're just going to concede a bunch of good opportunities. So that really has to change. We need to see clear improvement in that aspect, and that's what I wanted to mention. The lack of game plan right now, the lack of real style, the lack of inventiveness in our attack. Are we looking that dangerous? How many good players we've got? I wouldn't really say so, if I'm being honest with you. And also, you know, where's the style defensively and the game plan defensively? Because since Lampard's arrived, that hasn't really improved at all, and I'm just hoping that work is being done on the training ground to actually change that. And that's probably been the reason we've been so bad at the start of the season, actually, because if you think about it, if you're looking that average in attack, you're looking that open and unable almost and poor at the back, then what's going to happen? Well, not very many good things. We really are struggling right now, and it's time to talk about what we can do, because it's all good just rattling off at how bad the team's been or whatnot, but, well, firstly, I'd say, to be fair, personnel. It's important that players like Mendy, Thiago Silva, Zouma, Chilwell, Ziyech, Pulisic, I'm listing players here who haven't actually been consistently playing for Chelsea so far this season. When they get back playing, of course that's going to bring the team back to a better level. It just is, guys. Once we have a set starting 11, once, you know, we're getting a little more consistency in the lineups we're putting out, we are going to improve. We really are, and it's that simple. But I also want to mention that it's just one thing to consider that. Yes, personnel is important, it's crucial at Chelsea, but it's also tactics, guys. We can't just rely on having great players, and we can't just rely on every game we lose saying, yeah, but we'll have Ziyech and Pulisic back. because that's not going to work, guys. You got to throw people in, and it's going to be like, yeah, there we go. As we've spoken about, same with the signings. You can't just throw people in and things are going to work. Lampard has to improve tactically also, guys, and he has to generate proper plans on the training ground in order to make Chelsea really tough to beat at the back. I don't know if I've mentioned it, but Chelsea on the road, since Norwich have been in the Premier League, have a worse defensive record than the Canaries, who went down last season in horrendous fashion. You can't have more goals conceded than Norwich City and try and close the gap to Liverpool. The two things don't go together. It has to change, and I want to really reiterate that, because if Frank Lampard and the coaching staff don't address the changes, don't get that lineup together, really help us in terms of building a game plan, building a style, having maybe finding the right midfield combination to get us through matches, the right back four, and not just personnel, tactics, the right actual implemented game plan to help stop things. Because I think defending, it's so important. It's actually the system about defence. It really is. It's not always about names. It's actually about a system you use. And a good example of that is Arteta at Arsenal. They've got the same names that people were laughing about under Wenger and under Emery. They've got David Luiz, they've got Mustafi, they've got Holding. They've got people like Bellerin, who was laughed at a little bit. They've got people like, I'm not going to say Kolasinac actually doesn't play anymore, but even Maitland-Niles to an extent, and they've got a similar sort of players. David Luiz, Mustafi, Holding. These players were laughed at, but at Arsenal, because of how deep they sit, because the system's changed, they actually are quite difficult to beat. That's what I mean about the system can be changed. And I'm not saying I want to play that Arsenal, I wouldn't want to play that defensive football, but in just terms of finding the defensive system with the players we've already got, who I think are already good enough, it is important. And just a little more touching on personnel, because I was just thinking as I'm making the video that it's super important Lampard finds his 11 and he finds his formation also. Is it a 4-3-3? Is it a 4-2-3-1? Is it even a 3-back or a 5-back? It's important that Lampard finds this, because I think the dream area would have been a 4-2-3-1 at the start of the season, but maybe that isn't going to work. When we've played 4-2-3-1, there seems to be a real gap in the way Chelsea are playing it, and it's maybe a little bit different to how some other teams would play a 4-2-3-1, where it maybe looks a little more secure. The way Chelsea are playing it right now is actually quite open. The two central midfielders clearly aren't protecting the back four enough, and whether it's a player like Declan Rice, who I'm hoping we've signed before the end of the window, could be such a crucial player for Chelsea this season, whether it's important that he comes in and really helps us shore out that area, I'm not entirely sure. But whatever happens, Chelsea need to find a system, need to find a personnel, certainly in that system, to actually work. And maybe that means dropping a big player out of the attack, I don't know, but whatever happens, Chelsea need to find the right personnel, the right system, because we've got so many great players, so many great options. If you want to use Aspilicueta, then use him. If you want to use Reece James, Giroud up front, Abraham, you've got Werner, Hudson-Odoi, Havertz, Mount. In midfield you can have Kante, Jorginho, Kovacic. You can have Declan Rice if you want someone to sit in front of the defence if he comes in. Lampard's got options, so it's not set in stone. He's not limited right now. He's got a great squad, and it's time to find that system, that lineup, that personnel, and then from that, guys, we need a game plan. We need a style attacking. We need a style that's going to help us attack games. We need a clear defensive game plan and a strategy to help us win football matches and ultimately become competitive again as Chelsea Football Club. And just to end, guys, I know we can definitely do this. The season has only just started, and there's absolutely no point going absolutely berserk like people have been going on Twitter. But I did want to speak about it, because maybe people were brushing over it just a little bit too much. People were saying, don't be absurd, it's going to be fine. It's not going to be fine if we carry on like this, I'll tell you that for free. So things do need to be changed. I want to see us grow as a team and really compete. I guarantee that can happen, but there do need to be tactical changes. We need to find a lineup. We need to improve on the training ground. You cannot concede, like I said, more goals on the road than Norwich and expect to close the gap to Liverpool. Never mind get top four. So that's where I'm going to end the video, guys. Lots to talk about, lots to discuss. If any of you guys are tuning in, then make sure you drop your thoughts in the comments down below on the current Chelsea situation, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Goodbye.